Hey guys, what is up? It is Dangeles, and welcome back to part number 7 of the Victorian Mansion Let's Build. How's everybody doing? We're back here ready to continue to work on this place. Last episode, we worked on this little flower bed. We got started on the floor plan of the house, kind of worked our way out to the back, just kind of created an outline for how big this house is going to be. And then we also worked on the garage, and then I came back in after the video and just kind of filled in some of the really tedious things. So obviously, basically just going off of the perimeter that we laid down last episode for the back of the house, I pretty much just filled in the entire floor on the first floor with some dark oak wood planks. And then I came in and I filled in the garage floor with some stone right behind the acacia wood garage doors, and we'll work on that maybe a little bit today. The plan today is to continue to make progress on the floor plan and just maybe start to fill in some walls in the interior, start to work towards the back of the house. But I think we're making some pretty good progress on this build, so it's just about just continuing to add more to it. So another thing I did off camera was I went ahead and fixed up the driveway. I made a design that I think is going to stay. So as you can see, since this thing is a pretty big mansion, I decided to kind of match that with a fairly large driveway. It's got like a really big space right here, so if there were a lot of people over the house for whatever reason, there would be plenty of places to park. And then these little areas here with the dirt in the middle, surrounded by the stairs in the ground, are where I'm going to plant trees eventually. And I think I'm going to wait until we're pretty much done with the build itself before I get into any like major landscaping. So at the end, I'll add trees, and I'm thinking about putting like a big pond in the front yard here with a bench, maybe a gazebo around it, and some trees. Obviously, I'm going to kind of randomize the driveway. Might even work on that a little bit today with a bunch of different blocks. So I'll use like gravel, cobblestone, regular stone, stone bricks, chiseled stone bricks. All that stuff is just going to be kind of mixed in together here to make a cool looking driveway. And then we have the wall here, which is kind of the outside of the house. And what I'm probably going to do is put like a gate here that's like obviously, so this is like a gated driveway because, you know, with these mansions, you want them to be as private as possible. That's kind of like the mystery of like a mansion when you're looking from the outside in. You don't really want to get like the whole view of the place. So I'm going to plant a lot of trees so the house is kind of like tucked away behind everything. Because when you're driving on the road, I know it's always like much more, I guess, I don't know really what the word would be. It's just much more grand or whatever when a mansion is kind of just like tucked away and you can't really see it from the street. It gives it a little bit more privacy and luxury. So that's just something that I think is something we're going to do on this mansion. So I'm going to probably plant trees like all along this front wall here, so you pretty much can't see the house at all from the street. I tried to do something similar to this, the Alpine Mansion. There's like a bunch of trees planted right in front of like the big wall in the front. So one thing I'm going to start today's episode with is some oak leaves. I'm just going to throw down some oak leaves right here. I'm also going to grab some swiftness for this. And this fence design is basically, or this wall, I guess it's not really a fence, is the same design that we got started with a couple of episodes back when we were working on that side like gate over on the right side of the build. So right over there is basically the same general idea. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, I also did push that wall back one block. I did mention that I was going to do that last episode. So I did do that, and as a matter of fact, I did miss one thing real quick. Let me just go ahead and fix this up. Smooth sandstone. I messed up that right there, so I'm going to have to fix that. How am I going to... I'll just have to do this from the inside out, I guess. So we'll go like that, break back out, and there we go. So that's fixed, and that's pretty much exactly the same as it was. And then did I finish the leaves? Yes, I did. So I'm going to do a couple of more leaves on this side. But that's basically the plan for the front of the house. I think it looks pretty good. I think it's coming along pretty nicely. So we're making some good progress. So let's go ahead and get started on this floor plan, guys. It's a couple of things I want to do for this today. I want to start to add a second level as well. Because, you know, you got to make sure you don't ignore the second level. Because when you make a good floor plan, it's got to be on both levels. Alright, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to grab some cobblestone, no, not cobblestone, just stone bricks. And I'm just going to have these run down to like right there and then turn them. And just have these kind of just go all the way around the edge of the house. The back of the house doesn't have a plan yet, so that's going to be something we're going to work on soon. Again, you know, it's always one of those things where you got to make sure that you're careful, because I want to make sure I have a good plan for it, because I don't want to have to build something like all the way up on camera to find out that I don't like it to tear it down. So I'm going to have to be real careful with that, make sure that I build something I like the first try. Been kind of doing, obviously I did do that earlier on the Let's Build. I built something that I didn't end up really not liking, so Again, trying to not make that mistake again. But right here, I'm just going to kind of take up this sandstone wall on this side of the building and just kind of fill this in. The hard part about the interior and the floor plan for this build, I imagine, is going to be the foyer. I think I'm going to do some sort of really tall ceiling with the foyer, but I'm not 100% sure. And then I don't know exactly where I'm going to put the staircase just yet. That's another thing I'm going to have to figure out. Ideally, I'd like to put some sort of really nice, grand-looking staircase that's open. But again, if I can't find space for that, then I have no issues with like just tucking a staircase like into a corner. That's totally cool as well. So this is going to be kind of like just the outline of the house real quick. I'm just going to do a little bit of this right now just so we have a little bit of something to work off of here. And this is going to run down and connect. And that's just going to be one real big wall on this side. We could potentially add a window there. But it's probably going to be the master bedroom on this side of the house, and we'll just kind of add some windows on the first and second level, maybe even a fireplace that runs down the middle of this thing. So that's really what this is going to look like. And then what I got to do is connect it like that, and then I'll just leave the rest of this open right now. It's really no need to fill it in. So let's go ahead and get started with our floor plan. I'm actually just going to go ahead and add one level of sandstone here, so we just have a little bit of a separation between floor plan and the wall. So as far as floor plan goes, let's just go ahead and start to do the obvious stuff, and that's cutting off this wall right here. That's obviously going to be 2 different rooms, so we can easily just chop these off right quick and just have these connect. So something like that. And I'll probably have this, since this is going to be a wall to the outside, I'll probably have this run across right here and then line back down to there. So this is going to be its own room here in this corner. It'll most likely be a bathroom for the master wing. So this will be the master bathroom in the corner. It has one small window, which is what you're looking for in a bathroom. You don't want like the bathroom to have like a huge window, because then, you know, your privacy issues start to come into play. And that's always something that we're trying to do, because we want this place to look realistic. So, and obviously it's hard to do like, you can always add like shades or, you know, to a bathroom, so you can kind of cover up the windows. But you can't really do that in Minecraft. There's not like an ideal way to do that it doesn't take up a ton of space. So you're going to have to work around that by just creating a bathroom with a limited windows. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's going to be the one window in this room, and that looks like a pretty solid space for a master bathroom. So we're going to maybe have a shower in this corner, toilet, you know, sinks and all that stuff. It should be pretty nice. And then I'll have like a door opening to that right there. And then as far as this is concerned, we're going to have to figure out what we want to do with this. This part's going to be a little tricky. So what I think I'll do is bring a wall across right here and have this run all the way down this right next to this window. I think I can break that block as I can, but I'll probably end up putting something there at some point. But we'll take this wall down right here, and this is just going to kind of run through. And then I'm not really sure what this room is going to be just yet. I was thinking about making it like a private study. For maybe I'll put just like a desk right here, and it just kind of has like that nice looking curved window. So putting like a desk right here facing this direction and the window behind it might look pretty cool, and I can have some bookshelves and stuff in here and make this kind of like a little you know, private room. So that would be pretty cool. And right over here, what do we want to do with this? So this room's a little tricky because it's got a weird shape to it. So this will probably end up being another closet. So I'll probably just kind of close off this space here, but that's open for change. Again, that's kind of a small room, so we'll probably make that even a little bit bigger. And what I could do actually would be to maybe just break this and move this over a block or two. I just don't really know like what I can break and what I can't. Obviously this opens up to the outside, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to leave how it is. But I could bring this across right here, take that out so I have a little bit more space, and maybe I could cut it across right through this wall to like right there. Was that exactly where it was? Yeah, that's exactly where it was. So never mind, we're not going to do that. Maybe I could do it right here. Something that we'll have to you know, work on a little bit. Maybe we'll make these doors the same, so they're 2 blocks away from each other on each one of those corners. That looks pretty good, actually. All right, so now let's go ahead and move over here, and let's figure out what we want to do with this master bedroom, because over here is going to be where the main bedroom is going to be, where the bed is. So that's probably what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so for this design here, what I think I'm going to do about this, since I'm kind of like stumped on this for a second, I think I'm going to take down one level there, and I think I'm going to turn it in so it's like this, going like that, and it's going to be kind of like 2 and 2 right there, I think is how I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is have this wall run down right here. I'm just going to take this all the way down to the end, and then everything to the left of this wall is going to be the master wing. So I think that's what I'm going to do about this. And then I'm going to take up this space right here, and I'm probably just going to fill this in. It's a little bit of an extra space right there, but we'll just fill it in. We don't need it. So like that. And then obviously this wall is going to come up as well. And then this entire room here is just going to be, let me go ahead and grab the blocks of quartz. This whole room here is just going to be filled in, the ceiling going all the way through here. That's just blocks of quartz. And that's going to connect all the way throughout the entire first level here. So in here, it'll probably be the same. So I'll have this run across right here. And then the same thing goes inside of here. We'll have this run right above the sandstone where we have it. So just kind of, this is going to be the ceiling for the first floor of this part of the house where there isn't going to be a second level. Obviously, since this house is shaped a little bit different, there's going to be, obviously the second floor is going to be much smaller than the first floor in terms of surface area. So that's going to be something we're going to have to keep in mind. I might even make that ceiling a little bit taller right there than the other parts, but this is looking pretty good. So we'll have something like that. So when I look at it a little bit more, I'm thinking that I might actually move this wall in one extra block, so it's not as, because there's kind of like just like 3 layers there. It was like 2 and 2, and then it just went in too far. It was kind of like too weird of a shape, so I'll just move this in one block. Shouldn't cause too many issues right there. Do something just like that. And then as far as where we want to have like the entrance to this place be, let me just break this right here. We don't need that anymore because this is still going to be right here. So this will be a wall and there'll be a door there. Same thing right here. There'll be a wall and a door. And then I think I'm going to take another opening, probably like right here, I'd say is probably a good spot for this. And then I'm going to come in like 2 blocks and break open a couple of spaces here. So something like that will be the kind of the main entrance to this part of the house. Might even take that 1, and then this is 3. So then maybe right here instead. That'll give us a little bit more space over there. And then over here, I think I'm going to have this wall run down a little bit. And then, do we want to have this thing connect like right there? That's a good spot for that. Have this run across. And I think I'll just, should I connect this there or both? That's also a possibility. I think we'll do both. So that'll be another closet. So, okay, this looks starting to come together a little bit. So let's recap. Right in here, we got master bathroom. This is going to be walk-in closet. And this is just going to be kind of like a little master suite area. So this will probably be like a couch and a carpet in here, maybe a TV and some other stuff in this little area. And then once you walk through this door, this is the actual bedroom itself. And then this is going to be another closet that connects to both the hallway part and the room itself. I think that's a pretty solid little plan right there. So I think we'll go with that. So at least we have that kind of figured out. So let's kind of move over here. Let's just transition over to this side real quick. We'll just do this for a few minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have an opening right here. And this is going to be the entrance from the kitchen, which is going to be this space, to the garage, which is obviously this space. And now I'm thinking real quick, I got to fill this wall in here and just kind of have this be all filled in. And actually, what I could do, I might come back in and do this later, but I could very easily pick a different block. I don't know what I'd pick just yet. Maybe one of the stained clays. I could pick maybe, just for an example, let's go with light blue. And I can actually double stack these walls in the interior with light blue or whatever block I want to use. And this could be the wallpaper for the interior. Since we have a lot of options for this because we're using a nice texture pack here with the default, these blocks look pretty good in this texture pack. So we have the option of doing something like this, and I can do the same thing. Actually, no, I can't because that leads to the outside. So I'd probably have to like indent that, but you kind of get the idea. I can do this pretty much across the whole house since most of the walls are double stacked, at least they're going to be. So, and we're definitely going to add that later on. So we should probably start accounting that into the floor plan because that's going to really be important. We'll probably do that, and it only really matters for certain parts, but like double stacking the walls. So I'll give you an example. So if we wanted to double stack these walls with blue, we'd have to go like this, and then we would change these blocks to blue, and that's kind of how you would count this into the floor plan. So like this, and then right here, obviously all the walls on the inside don't need to be double stacked because they're going to be the same thing on both sides. But when any wall that's connected to the outside has to be stacked over twice, so you can do something like that, and that's just kind of how you would do that if you want to put wallpaper in. We're not going to worry about that right now, though. Let's just focus on like what we got to do in terms of just putting this thing into place, and then we can come back in and make tweaks to it. Because we still have a lot of work to do on this thing because we are not even close to being out of the woods when it comes to creating a nice design here. So we still got a lot more work to do. So let's actually just get to that. So obviously this is going to be the kitchen. So maybe we'll just have like a kitchen island right here, and then we'll have cabinets and things like that going around the edges here like this. And maybe I'll do this with a different block. Let's do this with some stone. That way just kind of I can see my design here. So these would be like these countertops, and this could be a kitchen island right here. We'll kind of extend this around a little bit more, and something like that, right? And then over here, I know we probably shouldn't be doing this out of stone, but this will be the dining room table right there. So the kitchen and the dining room will be kind of in like the same little area of the house. And then what I'm going to do is have like a big corridor opening right there. And that'll be like a little archway that we'll walk through, and you can kind of connect to like the main part of the house here. But that's kind of like the idea for the kitchen. It's pretty much doesn't take a lot of floor planning right there. So the cool thing about this kitchen is it'll connect to the front porch, and it'll also connect to the garage, which is always good. And we'll probably also have a back door in the garage. Actually, what we could do is we could toss a door right here for the garage. So we'll do that maybe. And I can choose from all the fancy schmancy doors. We'll do a dark oak wood door because those are my favorites. And I'll also grab a dark oak wood stair, so we can do upside down. And then this will probably be stone, so we'll do that. Place that there. And we have ourselves a nice little door. As far as these garage doors go, I'll probably put some upside down quartz slabs right here just to frame these a little bit. But again, these garages are still, I honestly still not even 100% sure if I'm going to keep these things or if I'm going to create a separate building for the garage. I don't know yet. I still haven't decided. We'll figure it out though. We'll figure it out. So we'll just do something like that. Honestly, that looks pretty good. So it's not like I have a problem with that. I think it looks good, but I'm certain that there's something else that could be potentially better. Anyway, let's get back to this. So next thing is this basically, we have a bunch more space here that we need to figure out. And as far as this foyer goes, I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with this because I really don't know, quite frankly, what I'm going to do with this. I just haven't really decided. So my initial thought was to do something like this, and you guys are going to have to tell me how you think or how you feel about this, and I'll just give this a go. So eventually, obviously, I'll do it right now, but I'm going to have to fill in this wall here because these windows are double stacked, right? So all this will get filled in, and we'll just kind of take this and bring it around town. And then I got to grab my pillared quartz blocks and run these across here. But the problem with that is it now makes this room an even number. As you can see, it goes 4 by 5, which is a problem. So the way we would solve that problem was to break open this thing here, and we're just going to kind of make this thing a little bit different on the back. So what I would do is I would open this up. I would place sideways pillared quartz blocks. Then I grab some slabs and then run this around like that. And then I'd connect the slabs or the sandstone blocks to those. And it indents this place in the back just a little bit, but it's not too bad, and it's something we can definitely work with. And I can even just fancy this or shape up this design, make it even more fancy, or maybe I won't, but I can grab some upside down quartz stairs as well, just to kind of make this thing fit in a little bit more in the back. So it indents it on the back a little bit, which again is not really showing, so it's not a huge issue, and it would definitely help out the design on the interior. So we can break this, and it gives us like much needed space down here to make this thing back into a 5 by 5 square, or 5 by 5 square. And then I'm gonna take the pillared quartz, or the full blocks of quartz, just kind of have these kind of run down in a nice little motion here like this. And I can honestly even get fancy here, but I don't want to get too fancy to start off because we're trying to just put in the basics right now. We're not going all out just yet. So, but I could do something like this. I could This is kind of tricky to place, but I'll do my best. Kind of do some upside down stairs, kind of wrapping around here, just kind of curving the edge, and then I can throw down some chiseled blocks in the middle of that, and then have a chandelier hang down from there, and then we'll probably go from there. I think that'll be something that we can work around. So like that, and then again I can grab my chiseled blocks here just to make it look a little bit more detailed and fancy. So something like that, right? And then we can maybe even just do like a sideways pillar block there, and that's kind of where the chandelier would hang down from that top part. So I think we're on the right track. And if you're wondering, this is going to be the world's tallest ceiling right here. This is a good solid 15 to 20 blocks tall right there. That's what I want. I think we could potentially add a room up here. You know, this could be a space where you can actually have a room. But with these Victorian builds, I just kind of want to have like a super tall ceiling right at the front of the house, and then kind of just like, you know, judge everything and base everything around that. So let's just kind of fill in this shape here real quick. And I might even get rid of that quartz that kind of runs down. We'll see though. So something like that, right? And then what I have to do is figure out where I want to put this staircase, because there's a bunch of different places we could technically put it. We could put it around here somewhere. We could just make it really grand and have it come from both sides here in the front. So what we could do is, I'll show you right now, we could do something like this. We could have this be the ceiling right here, right? Kind of just have this run all the way down. We'll take it just for a sample size. We'll take it down to like right here, then turn it back this way, and then run back across. And the ceiling levels for all of the parts of this house are probably going to be different. I did the same thing with the Alpine Mansion, so I'm kind of prepared for that. And this has really been like the first like legit mansion that I've done since the Alpine Mansion. I don't really build mansions a lot, so when I do, it's definitely got to kind of use the same ideas that I've kind of added from the previous ones in terms of like how I went about doing it. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And we could have a space right there, and that would just be kind of like the extra tall part of the ceiling. And this would run across here. And obviously all this space, like all this stuff can be broken because it's not even going to be showing. So I just kind of added that because I wasn't sure what I was doing with it at the beginning. So this would kind of run all the way down, right? And there's a reason why we made this part of the floor plan connect straight across. So this entire part of the building could be, you know, vaulted ceilings, like really tall ceilings. As you can see, that's insanely tall. But then what we can do is we can kind of frame that with some staircases. So we'll see how this looks. If it doesn't look good, then we can do something else. But what I might do is take up a lining of sandstone right there. Actually, should I take it right there? Sure, why not? And then we can have stairs go 3 wide. Grab some dark oak wood planks. Have these run across, and then the same thing on this side. So the smooth sandstone run all the way up, and I might even actually make this quartz. We'll see though. And then I'll have that, and this will go 3 blocks wide, and that connects perfectly to that wall because they're symmetrical on both sides. And then what I can do is have the stairs turn this way now and go up, and you'll be able to see both staircases from the entrance to the house, I guess. And I'm not a huge fan of like kind of like curving the staircases and angling them. I tried to do that in the Alpine Mansion, and I kind of just scrapped that idea. So I think I'll just do something like this and just have kind of 2 staircases on both sides symmetrical. But if this takes up too much space, we can always just get rid of one and then, you know, have only one of these staircases on each side. So as you can see, that's kind of like the start right here. So this is the front door, and obviously you'd walk in, you have these 2 nice staircases here. I might even just do quartz here to kind of frame this. So that would be like to there, and then this would go up with quartz as well. Does this connect to the outside? I think it does, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem or not. It might just be, so maybe we'll just leave this as sandstone. Alright, so that would mean we'd have to make that sandstone as well. We can't have inconsistencies like that. So if this were to be sandstone, how would it look? Let's just try it on this side, and we can replace that with sandstone later on. But something like that. Again, this ceiling is super tall in the middle here, so we'll have to maybe we won't make it this tall, but it is really tall, that's for sure. Well, maybe we'll add some more detail to it so it makes it look a little bit less tall. But it is tall. It is tall. And then obviously we'd have to fill in these walls on the side here. So we'll just take this all the way down. And man, time flies. I'll tell you what, I've been kind of just working on this floor plan, just working away. I've been in like full concentration mode, and boom, we're already like really far into this video. So I'm gonna wrap this up in a second here for today, guys. As you can see, this kind of stuff takes a lot of time. It takes a lot more time than you'd think, but it's probably one of the most important parts of the house other than like the front. So you got to make sure you take your time on it, especially when you're doing floor plans, because any kind of inconsistency or space that isn't used properly can kind of ruin a floor plan, really. And that's it's the part that's really difficult when you're trying to build a really cool house, is just making everything as perfect as you can possibly make it for the best of your ability. And that's always the part that kind of stresses me out with this, as I'm worried that I'm gonna do something like that doesn't match the rest of the house. But right now we have this kind of idea with these staircases, and will we keep it? Who knows? But for now we're gonna go with it. And then my plan was I was going to take this up a certain amount of blocks here. I don't actually even know where the second level is going to be, so it would be right here, just kind of connecting around. So it would be right here. Just run this across, and this is where we'll kind of wrap up today. So this will go 3, and then it'll start to turn again. Or even should we even just have this continue upward? Could be a lot better or easier, less complicated. We'll do just like that. Just have that connect and then take it across right here. Might just do that. Alright, let's see. Who knows how this will look, but we'll try our best to make it look good. So if that goes there, then obviously we take up a pillar right here and a pillar right here. And then at this part here where it's kind of like the staircase is open, I'll probably just have like parts that kind of go up like this, and there'll be railings on those, so you don't just fall off. And maybe I'll even put some paintings and some shelving on there on the sides of those walls, and that's kind of how this will run up. But who knows if this will even be the final product. It's just kind of like a sketch right now, really. That's kind of what we're doing. We're just doing some trial and error. But guys, I'm going to end the episode right now because we've been running for a while now, and we got a decent amount of progress done. Obviously, the floor plan is going to be something that's going to take a lot of time, and as you can see from the back right in here, it just looks like a big old mess. But eventually this thing is going to all come together, and we're going to have ourselves a Victorian mansion, hopefully. So we're continuing to make some good progress. I didn't get a chance to work on the driveway today, but there's a good chance that I'll come in and just kind of do this all off camera, because it's basically, you guys know what's coming. I'm just going to kind of randomize the whole thing. So thanks for watching, everybody. It's been Dangeles. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Just continue to grind away. Just make as much progress as we can on this place. I'm having a lot of fun building it, though, because it's something that I don't really do a lot, and Victorian kind of builds, and who even knows what kind of style build this is. I'm just going to say it's Victorian. That's what I've been saying the whole time. But thanks for watching, everybody. It's been Dangeles. I will see you guys on the next one. Give it a like if you did enjoy it. We'll be back for episode 8 in a couple of days. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.